Hey everyone, welcome back. And if you're new here, I show you kind of tips and tricks for writing with AI, how to make it easier for you, how to enhance your workflow, and just overall make writing more fun and easier. If you like what I do, please consider subscribing. And today, let's get right into it. We're not working on a specific book, but I wanted to kind of touch on writing violence and not safe for work things. So this video will not show anything that's not safe for work actually prompted out. I'll tell you what prompts I would use, but I'm going to have the video following this one that actually shows the output that I get and how I refine the prompts with specific output behind an age verification wall. I'm sorry, but I don't want to risk my channel. I know it's a hassle. You can do everything that I show you today on your own, so you don't have to view that one, but if you want to see the kind of pros that I'm able to get out, you may want to look at that video. Again, I'm sorry about having to do an age verification, but it will be graphic, explicit, not safe for work stuff. So with that out of the way, we're going to actually prompt right now for violence. We're going to do just a basic fight scene, and then I'm also going to see which AIs will play nicely with like a serial killer and a serial killer's victim. Both of those first-person POVs. I'm expecting some pushback from some of the AIs, so we'll see what happens. These are the AIs I'm going to be testing out. Excuse me. So it's going to be Claude 3 Haiku, Claude 3 Opus, Claude 3 Sonnet, GP4 Turbo, Mistral Large, and then Toppy. Mistral Large and Toppy are pretty open to whatever I throw at them, so I'm not expecting pushback from them, especially with how I'm going to show you how I prompt it. These guys are a little bit more moderated, so we may get some pushback. I don't expect there to be pushback from, just a basic fight scene, but once we get to serial killer, and especially once we get to not safe for work explicit sex, we're going to get some pushback here. So I also, of course, have Open Router just so you can see the cost of each. It's now April 2nd. I've been editing the past few days, so this will be a nice break for me. And I'll show you what each of the prompts actually cost. And then when we're at the end of the session, I'll show you how much this cost. So let's jump right in. Our basic fight scene, well, let's do something else really fast. So I'm going to max out the chat memory. I don't really need to max out the chat memory, but I do anyway. And the max tokens for each of these. So here, Haiku was done just because I mostly use Haiku, but double check that it's saved. Yep. I'm actually going to turn this off for right now. Sonnet. Okay, turn it off. Turbo. That's not what I wanted to do. Turn it off. That one off. Just did that one, right? Yeah. Yeah, I can max it out a little bit more here. And then Toppy. There we go. So, even though we have all of these lined up, we are only using Haiku because that's the one that's triggered over there. So, just in case you haven't had sound on and you're just watching what I'm doing, I'm going to make this really clear. Alright, give everybody a couple seconds just to read that. So if you're still with me, you understand that we're going to be talking about violence, serial killers, and also prompting for not safe for work stuff. So, and I'll break down the prompt for you in just 1 second. I don't have a Word doc open right now, so I won't be able to verify that, but we'll be able to tell if it's kind of close. Give it some backstory so that it knows what to play off of. And then please include lots of dialogue, lots of emotion, lots of action, don't hold back. All right. So breaking down this prompt, it's fiction. We're telling it that it's fiction. That way it doesn't think that we're actually two brothers and we're fighting and being violent. Giving it background, telling it how far I want it to go as far as word count, which tense, which POV, characters' names, their motivations. And then this is all what I expect it to do. I'm going to copy that because I'm going to use it a bunch more. And then go. Okay, it's still going. It paused for a second, but it's still going. This is a little funny. So it's definitely long enough. I can tell just by looking at it that it's likely right where I want it to be. I'm going to see what the violence looks like. So that's the whole point of it. Okay, so now we're choking, trying to strangle our brother. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the chat. I'm going to turn off Haiku. I'm going to turn on Opus. I'm going to ask Opus for the exact same thing. Hopefully it's going slow enough that you can all read it. If not, you can always pause it too. Okay, so both Haiku and Opus both chose to go for strangling. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to go back up. Okay, Opus, you're still going. That's okay. Well, that de-escalated quickly. Okay. This would be really nice if I was actually going to keep any of this, but I have no reason for two brothers trying to fight over a company right now. This is much longer than 2800. Okay. So Opus is definitely impressing me right now, just for the length and kind of the details that it's going into. And it did a nice stabbing or slashing thing, which was fun. All right, so this, hugely long, definitely decent. Of course, still needs to be edited, but it's not the most terrible thing. Okay, so it ended up slicing through his right palm instead of his neck. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and clear that. Turn that off. Turn on Sonnet. Okay, so this time the wife comes in. And stops them from fighting. So Sonnet went with a little bit of a different way where the wife had to come in and stop them. It's also a lot shorter than Opus. Remember, it's kind of the middle ground between haiku and Opus. So I'm going to go ahead and, oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, I will have to remember that. Okay. Turbo. So if you just saw, we can turn this off if I hadn't deleted that, but I'll show you with Turbo. And we can hide the previous prompts. So just going to go like that. This is just with Turbo. Because it gave this little bit and says that it's only going to limit the word count, I am going to take a look at the violence to see if it cuts that down at all. Okay, so we didn't do any of the violence. Well, we did a little bit, but it's like this is the paragraph of violence. I want more than that. Okay. Miss Stroll, what are you going to give me? So this was what Mistral did. It's focusing on more of the dialogue and the emotion versus the actual blow by blow. A little bit here. To me, this is a lot more showing than telling. But if you don't want to really do any of the actual fighting and just show kind of the emotion behind it, then Mistral seems absolutely fine. It's a decent sized chapter. I don't think it's 2,800, but it might be 15. All right, let's try Toppy. The end. That's nice. That's cute, Toppy. Okay, again, not 2,800. Opus definitely gave us the longest output. And then it does kind of just go a little vague right here. And now we're holding hands after trying to kill each other. So, I'm going to go ahead and clear the chat. I'm not clearing the models because I'm going to need them in a second, but I wanted to show you the cost per each. So Opus was 20 cents for that, but we got a lot. So keep that in mind. So Haiku, less than penny. Opus, 20 cents. Sonnet, 2 cents. Turbo, 3 cents. Mistral Large, 3 cents. Toppy, way less than a penny. So we went from 386 to 351. So not terrible. Now we're going to do 2 more of those. I'm going to go a little faster. Never actually read The Lovely Bones, but I think it was based on a book. I saw the movie. 7. What else is a good serial killer one? Jack the Ripper. A good reference for it. First person, POV, past tense, from the serial killer. She's unnamed at this time. I'm going to go with a her just because most serial killers are not women, so if there was going to be a serial killer book from this, it would be a nice twist to throw everybody. But let's see here. This is the one that I'm thinking that some of these will have issues with. Killing, stalking. So that's why I'm going to push it and see which ones completely refuse, which ones give me an abbreviated version, and which ones actually do what I want. I'm going to ask for 2,800 words again. And remember, this is just a fiction novel. The serial killer will face justice at the end, but I want a good opening chapter to grab readers. Alright, I'm going to copy this so I don't lose it. Give me what you got, Haiku. Okay, thank you for the content warning. I appreciate that. It's kind of what we're doing here. Okay, so Haiku didn't shy away. We've got her being sliced through her neck. And then what's really important in the prompt is that I reiterated multiple times, this is fiction. And I gave it the kind of fiction that it could relate to. So it's not, hey, I'm having a serial killer fantasy. It's, I'm writing a novel and I need your help. And then also letting Haiku know that this serial killer is going to face justice. And the reason behind that opening chapter needing to be this bloody. I thought we sliced her neck. Okay. Okay, so yeah. I did not tell it that we were going to cut people up, but Haiku apparently went with we're going to cut people up, which might have been because I did reference Hannibal and Silence of the Lambs. Okay. That is actually a really nice first chapter if I wrote serial killer novels. So we're going to turn Haiku off. We're going to turn on Opus. Alright, so we're dismembering here too. Cool. I expect Opus to give us the most output and also the most detail now that it's actually understanding what we want. So yeah, if you want a serial killer novel, apparently Claude has no problem as long as you frame it as fiction and give it kind of what to work with. There's some nice details in here. The sectioning squelch. Yep. Alright, so she cut out the woman's heart right there. So definitely a nice long first chapter. And she apparently eats the hearts of her victims. Right, sonnet. I find it really funny that Sonnet's refusing, but Opus and Haiku had no issue. Okay. Can't do it ethically or legally. That's fine, Sonnet. I understand. Haiku and Opus both did it, but hey, that's fine. Turbo, what do you got? I'm going to see what this says. I don't know. I don't read serial killer novels, but I assume that what Opus did is more like what people want. That kind of visceral, showing the actual killing. Yeah, so it is short, and it didn't really tell us anything. All right, Mistral, what do you got? And then the not safe for work one where I actually show the prompts and the output, that won't be posted directly after this one. That may wait until tomorrow. but this one should go up today. Running a little low on time, but that's absolutely fine. I don't do any kind of editing, obviously, just for my videos. I mean, I edit my books plenty. I've been editing one book for 3 days, but it's not like I have to sit and try to edit them. Mistral, okay, you cut out. That's fine. So we did do the killing. Opus is still my favorite for the output right now, but again, it is a really big price jump. But if it's giving you pretty much exactly what you want, then maybe it's worth it for you. I don't know why I did chapter 2, but that's okay. Are you all done? Okay. She closed her eyes, but now we're seeing fear in her eyes. She's not fighting at all. Alright. So Toppy didn't give us much. Opus went straight into actually dismembering and spending time with her and lots of detail. I see here. So this is where we restarted with the next one. Haiku is here. Opus was actually only 12 cents that time. Sonnet, far less. Turbo, 3 cents. Mistral large, 3 cents. Toppy, less than a penny. Didn't Turbo totally refuse? No, Turbo didn't refuse. Sonnet refused. So Sonnet charged less than a penny to tell us no. So that's interesting. And then we went to 331 or 331. It's not bad at all. So I'm going to clear the chat. I'm not going to clear the models, but as far as getting not safe for work explicit sex content, what I would do is tell it, first of all, we're writing fiction. This is between consenting adults, and tell it exactly what you want. So my example that I'm going to be doing in the next video is going to be 2 people who meet at a bar. There's instant lust. They talk for a little bit. Then they decide to go into the bathroom. They get hot and heavy. They don't stop. They have sex. And then they leave the bathroom together. So that's going to be what I'm going to be prompting. What I would like you to do, if you're going to do this on your own and not watch the other video, which I completely understand because, again, an age verification is annoying. But what I would suggest doing is laying out the motives for the people, just like I did with the 2 brothers who were fighting, and also what I did for the serial killer. Oh, I was going to show you the serial killer from the victim side. I can do that really quick. But pick a character, or if you're going to do third person, that's okay too. Show the motives for both so that it doesn't have any kind of weird consensual, usury, abusey kind of things happening in its mind, because that will throw up red flags for it. But if you just want explicit consensual sex between strangers, go for it. We're going to say this is fiction. We're going to tell it exactly what we want. We want explicit detail. We don't want it to stop. We don't want it to hold back. We want visceral detail. We want sensory detail. Give it a word count so it knows kind of what you want and what you expect. Tell it which POV and tell it past or present. And then also say, hey, this person just got out of a divorce. She's just looking to hook up. Or, hey, he's been single for so long, he just needs to get some, basically. And then that way it knows, first of all, it's going to throw a fit if it thinks that it's not consensual. Many of them will, not all of them, but many of them will. if there's any kind of suspicion of abuse on its part, it will throw a fit, or it'll ask you to tone it down, or it'll tone it down for you. So just be aware of that. But it's not hard to get explicit if you prompt for all of them with the exact same prompt to try them out. And this isn't even all of them. There's so many different models that you can use on OpenRouter. These are just the ones that I play with most. So let's do serial killer from the victim side. So I'm going to change this up. Oops, nope. Did not mean to do that. From the victim's side. She's tired. She's walking home from a late class off her college campus. She's walking alone. She's listening to her earpods and not paying attention to her surroundings. The serial killer approaches her. Show her fear. Show her trying to get away. Show the moment she realizes she can't. Show her horror, her sadness, everything else that would go through your mind when you realize that you're trapped. Worry. I'm not going to throw in that she's worried about her cat, who she'll never see again. And show the serial killer killing her, and the moment of her death, and pain, shock of it all. Alright. I'm not going to get rid of all of that, because we still need a little bit. Alright, so this is what I'm asking it for. Serial killer from the POV of the victim. First chapter. 2,800 words. We're going to turn on haiku. Come on, haiku, show me what you get. Okay. So haiku has no issue with it. Okay, haiku is actually still going. Alright, so let's see here. Lots of detail. It decided that the serial killer was a man, which is typical, most of them are. This one's a lot harder for me to read, actually. Not because it's terribly written, it's just victim stuff. It's a lot harder. But I did want it to see, because this is pretty much the darkest that I can think beyond just maybe bringing in a child, but I'm not going to show you guys that. Okay. So, I know Opus is probably going to be the best if it gives me what I want. Which is going to be a big if. Okay. Did the content warning, which I'm absolutely fine with. You know, there should be a content warning for this chapter. It's probably going to take a while. Okay. Are you stopping? What are you doing? Did you decide that you didn't want to continue? No? Okay. You just had a pause. Okay. So far less words than the serial killer POV, but it's not terrible. Turn that off. Previously Sonnet refused, so let's see if Sonnet refuses this. Okay. Sonnet said no, which I expected since it refused last time. Again, Turbo. Oh, you're going to tell me how to write it. I don't want you to tell me how to write it. It's nice that this is doing it, though. Like, if you're like, okay, that's fine, but at least you're trying to be helpful. Instead of Sonnet, who is like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. Okay. That's nice, Turbo. Thank you for the tips. Mistral has no problem with it. Mistral will go explicit for not safe for work stuff too. And that's what I'm going to be showing you tomorrow. It's going to be these exact same AIs. I'm not going to change anything with them. It's literally just that I have to go to work soon, so I don't have time to do the rest of the prompting that I wanted to show you. Plus, it's going to be 2 videos. Just this part, I don't feel like needs an age verification. Maybe YouTube will say later at some point that it does, but that's interesting. It went 4th wall. Okay, that's kind of cool. Yeah, like a book where the victim kind of shows you everything. I think that's how The Lovely Bones was, actually. So that might be why it's tying that in. I don't know. I should probably read that book. The movie wasn't bad. Alright, Toppy, last chance. Okay, so of course Toppy has no problem with it. It likes to end things at the end, and it's like, no, it's not. Okay, so they didn't actually kill her. Oh, she lives. Okay. She lives and the serial killer got arrested because students tried to help. Toppy, that's sweet. I appreciate you doing that. Alright, so hopefully this was helpful. I'm gonna refresh here. So we started with haiku lesson Penny, Opus, 7 cents. Sonnet, Turbo, Mr. Large, and Toppy. It went from $3.31 to $3.15. So not bad. So I would say, Opus definitely the clear winner for serial killer POV and for the two brothers fighting. And probably the clear winner for most things, if you're okay with the cost. Mr. Large Toppy, not bad, very cheap options. So I'm interested to see with our explicit not safe for work scene that I'll be posting tomorrow what is actually going to be the winner. But thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.